Two questions. So, what would make a man do that? And how would a woman not know?
We're gonna go with part one. My guess would be that freedom, innit?
Who?
For the man.
What do you mean?
Or the feeling. You know, like a lot of people...
Why do you say freedom?
No, the freedom literally as in the feeling. In the sense of, you know, a lot of people say obviously they don't like using condom, they prefer to not have it or not liking the feeling of it, or I would assume that that's at least a factor.
You know what? It's pretty slick because I'm doubting that the conversation took place where the woman said, "Don't you dare take that condom off." Guarantee you that hardly ever happens. So in his mind, it's like it's free game. Because who has that conversation? It's like, yeah, you say, let's strap up. But then no one says, strap up and don't you take that condom off.
But then I assume if you say to someone, you make sure you need to have one on to be, then you're not going to expect them to take it off prior to it finishing.
Expectant.
Yeah, so that's where I suppose you go.
But then without saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the problem though, isn't it?
It's an assumption still.
It is an assumption, but if we've both decided
it's not going to happen without it,
or we're not going to, then
you wouldn't expect those sneaky maneuvers.
I'm just thinking, so he's probably thinking, okay, so she never said when I can take this off. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. But do you know what? I'm not. It's just that mindset is just fucked. Isn't it?
Of course.
It is just
of course.
So messed up.
Because in my mind, I can't see how. I don't know. Why would you do that?
Thing is, it's one of those things where you just think I think that's the only thought to have. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But obviously, it happens.
But then, you know.
Why is always the most important question.
Why is?
And why is hardly the one that's probably the least answered.
Yeah. But honestly,
I feel like that's one of them ones we'd have to have somebody that's actually done it, answer that.
Yeah.
Why they've done it. Because even then, I feel like you still get more than one why, different one. Even if you've got a common denominator between them, like someone saying something like, "Oh, I don't really like wearing them." Okay, cool. Loads of people don't, but loads of people also don't like getting things.
But there's so much different condoms to suit everyone's needs.
And that's the thing.
That I'm sure you can find a condom that could work for you.
But what if he just wants to do that?
You
would say, tell her, innit? Yeah, he is. He definitely is. But would you think, tell her then?
Yeah, because the thing is, tell her he's going to take it off.
Yeah.
Like, the chance, I think what it is
that will be taking away what stealthing is.
Yes, exactly that. Because the point is, there's always that high possibility she's going to say no.
Which is
going to stop it.
Which is why
he won't
the conversation is imperative to have.
But do you know what? I agree with you, but
stealthing.
I feel like there's them guys that will be stealthing irrespectively. So even if the conversation's had, if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it. It's gonna be one of those, let me do it and see if she clocks.
So how do you prevent this?
I think you just always gotta be, as much as, how do I put it, in sex, I feel like your mind should be free. You shouldn't have to worry about it.
You have to be
policing
policing
it.
it.
You have to be present. Because I think stealthing mainly happens once you change the position. And that position is usually changing from maybe missionary to doggy. So that's when the woman is not facing you.
That's the gap in it.
Yeah. So she's not
like, haha, there's a moment. Go.
But that is
it's
the
true.
moment. That is the moment when it happens. And how a woman may not know is because she hasn't checked as you change positions.
Yeah.
And again, it depends on what condoms you're using. If you're using skin like,
it's like it's not there, isn't it?
It's like it's not there.
Yeah.
And
so
that's the whole point of it. So when you've changed it, I wouldn't know.
Oh.
Exactly. And the other thing is, as well as the skins, like something like that, you got to think of lubrication. If any's used, how well she's lubricated.
Yeah.
Because if she is, again, there's certain things that will go amiss. So as you said, if you're using something that feels as natural as possible, and she's well lubricated, there's less sensation in that sense of that particular thing. So she will go on, and her assumption is gonna be, well, you put it on. I saw you put it on. I saw it on. We keep on moving. So until it's done and you see him take it off, especially if you haven't really seen hands, like you're saying, you change position, unless you've paused for a minute and he seems like he's taking long or he's doing something in that time, which I'm sure most females would kind of look and be like, what's going on? But if it's done, like, I'm assuming stealth, that the only way I know stealth is to move sneaky or to move kind of undercover, which is the whole point. Yeah. So the point is now, if you're moving stealth, you're doing it in a way where she's not gonna notice. It's gonna be quickly. It's gonna be timed. It's gonna be calculated. She hasn't got time to pause and think, hold on, what did he just stop for? So everything's gonna happen like that.
So I was gonna say, I feel like we need to just be a bit more present. Yeah. As much as we can be, and more vigilant.
But do you know what? I think that's also a scary thought.
What?
Like, not that we shouldn't be. I think naturally we should be. But if in that moment, right, you should be able to be free. You should be able to be in a euphoric state of mind because you're comfortable with the person. Yeah. But this goes back to like what you were saying. If you're not in a certain place, you shouldn't be having sex. Like, because if you're having sex, you should be able to be that free where you're not policing it at that moment. Like, the thought that we have to be policing that kind of moment, doesn't that kind of take away from the fact that we're here doing that?
I think it's very telling. As much as I really think that it's important that the conversation's had, I think it just shows how low how low or how much of a low state we're actually in, because it's not like, say like, oh, I know better, so I'm not in this low space too. No, I'm amongst people that are operating in this low thing, and I am in it as well. I'm in it as well.
Do you know what though? I question, see, for all the people that do that, and I will say guys, because there's guys that are taking off the condoms, but
would the woman's thing be her kind of like cutting condoms and
maybe putting holes in it?
Piercing
but then the only thing about that though, I've only heard about women making holes and doing all that stuff when they're actually trying to get pregnant. It's not just for the feeling of sex.
What would that be called though?
Wrong. And mad on many other levels as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like not to take away and say, oh, women are, but I feel like that's a whole different genre, because that's normally about them wanting a baby. So that could be whether it's just fertility, whether it be trapping a man, that's a whole different conversation. But in terms of it being a thing where it's more a state of pleasure, it's mad, because I actually think to myself, okay, cool. You've moved stealth, you've done this, yeah? Now, she's unaware. We're going to paint a scenario. She's unaware. Couple of weeks later, her body's acting up. All of a sudden comes and hits you up with a, hold on, I think I'm pregnant. The only person I've slept with is you, but you had a condom on, so this ain't making no sense. How many of these guys are gonna really step forward and be like, yeah, you know what? Sorry, took it off and I'm a man up now. How many do we really think are gonna do that? I'm not saying none will, because you never know. But the likelihood is, if that's how you're moving, your intention isn't necessarily to get her pregnant. Your intention is just to do whatever you want for yourself in that moment. Unless, but saying that, there may also be guys out there that are trying to get girls pregnant.
Listen, that's enough, man, trying to breathe.
Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. So some of them, it might be the intention to do it for that reason, but then I think it's going to be split, like where there's going to be some that just want that feeling, that moment, and some that may want more. But for the guys that aren't doing it to get her pregnant, are you going to step up if she ends up pregnant?
Probably not.
Just because of your stupidity?